Well, we've made it to element 5 of week 3. Share your expertise. And this one's actually really simple. As the title suggests, it's simply about sharing your expertise as a real estate professional. And in reality, we've been talking about this since day one with utility for real estate. So just get started on producing content to answer questions people have about real estate, about the local area you specialise in, your farm, if you prefer to call it that, or your patch, and about improving the value of people's homes with renovations, landscaping, and etc. Now, you probably take a lot of this stuff for granted, but keep in mind that most buyers and sellers don't have all the answers, and they're actively looking online for the answers. And if you're willing to step up to the plate and provide those answers, you'll ultimately become the authority in their eyes, and you can then leverage that into listings and sales down the track. So you already know that when it comes to real estate, people have questions, lots of questions. Now, whether they're selling, buying, or renting, real estate tends to be the biggest financial transaction of people's lives. And naturally, there's a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and confusion, and yes, even excitement about the subject. So given your expertise as a real estate professional, you need to be doing everything in your power to give people the confidence and the comfort in their real estate decisions. And sharing your expertise is the best way to do this. So I'd like to tie this entire stage together because it's been a big brain dump for you so far. And my guess that most of you are probably rubbing your temples and thinking, oh my God, I'm so confused, overloaded, overwhelmed, etc. How on earth am I going to put all of this into action and make it work? So I want to reassure you that this is not impossible to do, that it's absolutely going to get easier and easier as you do it more and more, and it's most definitely going to be worth the effort in the long run. You see, you signed up because you wanted to learn how to become an authority agent, to become the dominant player online in your local market. If you didn't sign up for that reason, I'm a bit concerned as to why you did, but... So the first thing to understand is that doing anything new is difficult. Now let's be honest, on day one as a real estate agent, did you knock it out of the park? Did you have 100% complete confidence in what you were doing and started listing and selling properties immediately? Did you even understand the paperwork, or were you able to use your company's software systems? My guess is no. That it was probably confusing and overwhelming, and you probably wondered whether you'd made a big mistake in getting into real estate in the first place. And all of this is perfectly natural when starting a new job or learning a new complex task or system. And I promise you that what I've been teaching you so far, and will keep teaching you during the rest of the Authority Agent Academy, is not going to come easily or naturally to most of you unless you already have a reasonable background in the digital marketing space. Look, you'll try some of the things I recommend and fail, whether due to a lack of knowledge or a lack of effort. At this early stage, it doesn't matter which one it is. So I'd like to share a really quick story with you. Now, chances are you don't know this. I only actually found out about it recently, but there's a semi-secret research and development facility at Google called Google X, and their mission is to invent and launch quote-unquote moonshot technologies that they hope could someday make the world a radically better place. Now, the reference to moonshot comes back to Kennedy's commitment for the US to land someone on the moon, and how it was a hugely audacious goal and all of the stuff that goes with it. Now, day-to-day activities at X are directed by scientist and entrepreneur Astro Teller. That's our man there. And he's aptly named Captain of Moonshots. In a recent interview with Peter Diamandis, he had this to say on the topic of failing and learning, which I think is hugely relevant to the journey you're embarking on as authority agents. Teller said, I often ask my project managers, if you had to rebuild your last project from scratch, let's say you lost all of your code, how long would it take you to rebuild it to what it is now, assuming you had your same team in place? And they usually say, oh, I don't know, 10% of the original time? To which Teller stated, there's a name for that other 90% of time saved. It's called learning. The job of a great manager, a great entrepreneur, and a great CEO is to try and make that 90% time shorter. Focus on how to make it as short as possible, as efficient as possible. So that so-called wasted time is actually you learning, and the more you do, the better you will get in time. That I can promise you. But initially, you'll have to try, and sometimes you'll fail. You'll waste some time. You'll fluff some of your videos. I still do that even now. You'll screw up a few blog posts, spend some money on some ads and get no leads or sales, etc. However, I also promise you that you will figure this out in time and become competent and even confident around this, just like you are working towards or have already achieved in real estate. I'll give you an example. I've been working with video since the early 2000s and I still don't always get it right, but I promise you I'm now 1,000,000% ahead of where I started back then. Ditto for writing content. Even running Google or Facebook ads. I'm one of the best in my entire city at that, but I'm not 100% perfect. I make mistakes, I'll learn from them, and so will you. But I want you to understand that if you keep doing what I'm teaching you, you will get good at this and you will generate leads and sales and become more and more the local authority in the local real estate space. It's only a matter of time and effort. And if you go fast and are willing to also fail fast, you'll also succeed faster than someone else who wants to do it slow. You know, one of the best things about recording and publishing crappy videos to YouTube is that you can delete them once you get good enough to record and publish good videos to replace them. So please do me one favor in this program. Be willing to learn to fail fast and learn from your mistakes. If you analyze your mistakes and adapt to them, you can try and try again until you have a win. Then a second win, then a third, a fourth, and so on, until suddenly, maybe 3, 6, or even 12 months down the track, you look up and realize you are the local authority agent in your area. And people will be calling out to you on the street saying hi and how they love that video you published last week, or really enjoyed your latest blog post, which naturally they shared with all of their friends on Facebook, and they want to come and talk to you about selling their home when you can fit them in. Now at that stage, they'll be calling you to talk real estate. You won't have to cold call them because you're too busy listing and selling houses from all the leads and the referrals you're getting. So at the end of the day, this all comes down to you knowing your subject and being willing to share your expertise with your audience. If you do this consistently and regularly, I promise you, you will become the authority agent in your marketplace.